right. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. I know. Everybody, welcome to Making Pax Stereo TV, the show, the reality show that came out of requests from our friends who wanted to see more of the behind the scenes. So I told them, well, we can let you watch some of our meetings. As it turns out, Vic and I meet all the time, you know, because we're working and doing it. But our most formal sit-down discussions are when we are this. Mm-hmm. And so the whole idea is to let you see the behind-the-scenes discussions relative to what we have to deal with every day. We make no attempts at all to adjust anything because you're watching this. We just can't do that. We have stuff we have to talk about. You get to be the fly on the wall. And the idea is that many of the things that we deal with as issues, you too will deal with as you attempt to promote your own brand, you know, your book, your CD, all those things that you're doing, your movie, all those things, that these tasks that we're dealing with are the same tasks anyone has to do who's attempting to self-promote their brand. And so that's the idea of Making Pax Stereo. You get to see what Vic and I have to talk about. What are the issues? And so I want to welcome you once again to Making Pax Stereo. Vic, I guess at the beginning, I usually like to summarize of where we've been. It's now February. We've been officially off from our regular scheduled programming since, I think, the very somewhere in December, end of November.
Absolutely.
And then we kept on with the Quiet Storm, which continues, but the other programming has been off.
Right.
Now, people might say, why? Well, mainly because you have to have time to plan, and I could only do 3 things at one time. So, you know, Vic and I were multitasking all the time. We can only do so much, so we have to take off some time to plan, to be in that. Now, I don't know what other people do, but that's sort of like what we do. We sort of do. Meanwhile, the 24-hour broadcast machine is going on. We have an updated broadcast schedule that we've come up with now that includes, basically, it just lacks the primetime programming elements. We have stuff in there. It's playing like our default music, audio, and video playlist. We have a nice one, though. It's a playlist that mixes up automatically, adjusts. It has content that is actively inserted as commercials, and that default playlist plays during our prime time. And then our now Triple Banger Friday, which used to be Triple Banger Tuesday, features our most active live showing, which is Friday nights, 7 o'clock, DJ Miko, Quiet Storm pre-show. From 8 to 10, The Quiet Storm. At 10 o'clock, the iVictor Photo Experience. Then that's rebroadcast in the same time slot, 7 to 10:30, Saturday night and Sunday night.
You got it. You got it.
Okay. I think, I'm not sure, I've got to double check.
What is that?
I think that actually, we have to see what's going on Monday through Thursday. I think during that time slot that we have the default playlist, but I have to verify that with you. Yeah,
I know. And you have already brought it up. It may be
the Quiet Storm replaying
again. Yes.
Every night from 7 till 10, and if that's so, we have to decide if that's something we want.
Yeah.
Right now, the whole issue, guys, is what do we put in the programming while we're not on? So Vic and I have to deal with that.
Yeah.
We basically have decided that our default hour, which includes a artificial intelligence way of assorting through files, creating a mix out of files we pre-selected, is the way, and we're beefing that up.
Yes.
So that you get more selfies, more of our interactive material during that hour.
Right.
If you can imagine, you guys, and I say this for Vic's benefit too. It ends up being, and you know he's more aware of it. It ends up being 24-hour days. You start thinking of everything as a 24-hour day, and there's 7 days in a week. You could arbitrarily decide that Monday through Thursday is the same, or Monday through Friday,
right?
Or every day could be different, right?
Right.
So that's where it's totally on us. It has to do with how much programming you have.
And I'm gonna get to this point too. Have you ever watched AMC? And these are different models.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure you can count that the programming had you seeing shows that you probably seen announced at least 100 times. You may have watched 30 times, but they keep showing you that programming hour.
Right. They could be the commercials.
Well, yeah,
well, at least what are you saying? The commercials or the actual hour?
The actual hour of the program. So, if, for example, and I was testing this with somebody the other
like
day.
Charlie's Angels.
Yes, if I watch Twilight Zone, no matter how much is announced up there, I'm not getting mad because it's always up there. I'm just choosing whether I want to select watching it again, and again. So the premise of what they do is saying we're not worried about whether you choose to watch it or not, but we're going to have it here. To go to your point about the Quiet Storm, I said, well, if they don't want to watch it, and it's the latest production as our triple play that's always available, I actually want to see the latest as often available because it is the most recent and
we have
latest.
to define that, Vic.
That's true.
When you say see it, so let's try to be clear, you guys, because I know it can sound a little weird. So let's say for us, what Vic means is our website,
right,
or your website, wherever you're promoting, if it's Facebook.
Doesn't matter.
Wherever you're promoting, these are the elements you got to. So that's what and here's the thing.
Right.
We're trying to decide what elements are mandatory because we have to do the work, right? That's what makes it real. Because we have to prioritize them, right. What gets done in what order. And that's real.
The hottest production or element, the most current, is always featured. Archivable links has always been a standard, whether it's vehicling through where it's available versus how often it should run. What's more important for you and I is to how do we basically say, do everybody know where it is, and how often do we promote that versus we just make sure it's in the right place. I said it's always based on the promotion of where we say here,
which is what we haven't done, and that's what we need to do.
Right.
Even though quickly, let's look at what we have,
right, because
that at least will make it real. Right. So what we have is that at the landing page, we call that when you go to Pax Stereo TV, the place where you first come up, we call it the landing page. So we cycle through and add all the new episodes, get what they call a post, which is right, the picture and the title metadata. It's called metadata, the description, title, graphics all together. So that gets updated every time we do new episodes. Right. And what's been interesting enough, which we had sort of said, even with our other scheduled broadcasts not happening, the morning coffee, right, this has still been having regular updates. Right. So we do regular now, right, slider updates. The slider updates are usually done it can be as many as 3 or 4 days a week. Right. It can actually be more than that if you count minor updates. It can be 7 days. Right.
As often, and I think this is the challenge, as often as there's something you're featuring.
Yeah, because the lifestyle change you and I say, right? Right. Is that we can do it. It's livable. Right. That's when you. Right. I'm just saying that for you guys' benefit, to understand that Vic and I decided years ago. I came to Vic and said, Vic, the only way I can do to see us doing this is if we kind of learn to live this a certain way, and then I try to technically make it livable, and we choose the best third-party stuff to make it livable. Right. But then we have to live it. But on the other good hand, it could be like we're on the go, kind of, right, doing the shit, kind of. It can be kind of exciting. Yeah, right. That's the good part. The bad part is you got to always be on the go doing this shit. Right. But the good thing is that how else could two guys run something like this? That's the real thing. In other words, everything you're seeing, I'm the sole web designer, period. Right. So Vic and I talk it through, and then we do it. Oh, we crashed. Oh, well.
Well, and we're always assessing that we're coming in, and I'll take care of that. We're always assessing, and I'm saying we're falling into 3 models. We took on the biggest model, which is lengthy programming, which we call minimum in our archivable days, an hour and a half, 2 hours. And now we are saying, look, to get more production equal to value, there can be not just as big of productions. They can be mini productions, and then they can be commercials, which is still production. So if they fall in that area, what happens is that we actually get to execute some creative ideas that may not have to have the capacity to carry the way, say, Morning Coffee was. Morning Coffee is like it is the Hindenburg versus the Goodyear blimp. It's the Hindenburg. That son of a gun takes more work than the triple play on Friday, because of the nature of how it's approached, especially from what you have to do and how we have to develop the pre-production to get it started.
So it's a significant work because within it, we're programming episodes. Within the Morning Coffee Show, Vic is programming 2 full segments, which is both the new sports and the hot picks. I'm doing the monologue and the lead-in, but I have the overall flow of the show. So there you go. It's a difficult thing. It's a lot to do, but again, as far as we see it, that's the way you do it. That's the way you continue to do it. So those are exactly the kinds of things we're going to be discussing. Okay, what is absolutely necessary now? Well, those are the things, because again, we have to prioritize and do the work. That's the stuff we have to talk about. We have to look at all the work to be done and at least prioritize that work in some rough kind of way. Now that Vic's back, he was fixing some stuff. Take a look again. So Vic, all the latest episodes, I take the 4 latest episodes, and they're always placed, and if it's not working, forget it.
I got you. Don't worry about it.
The 4 latest, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Take the 4 latest episodes, and they're shown there. And then now, once you're not one of the latest episodes, you get switched to the episode archives. So from there, you show up here. Now, if you notice, look at how many episodes archives you have here.
Right.
And you can scroll through those, or you can say view all.
Right.
If you say view all, there's all these episodes.
Right.
What's good about them is that by using just what was required by the website, they now get a better value of metadata to me based on the post, right?
Right.
Because they get a picture, a title, and a description.
Right.
So within the website, at least the archives are there. Now, I have no idea of knowing where people are watching stuff, but we're doing everything to make sure that the episodes are here at our own website,
right,
and that it's constantly updated.
Right.
Now, the part 2 of all that, as you said, do we tell people enough about it? Probably not. That's the part I think we have to talk about. But it was a stage to making sure we had the workflow.
Right.
Which means that the workflow for us is that we do a show, usually package it the same night. My workflow usually is to package shows immediately after they're complete.
Right.
Otherwise, we do them the next day. Like if it's late that night or we're hungry, want to go to eat or something.
Right.
It can be as late as the next day. So we're comfortable with those aspects of that workflow. One of the things so when Vic and I say we don't need new programs, what we're saying is that we have enough archival material out there on YouTube, all over the internet, that we can just refer to that in the creative ways, and that solves 2 tasks. One, it helps. We need to hype the old archive material that you guys know we made it, and second, because it's some good material, and third, because we think it goes for ongoing recruitment of people and resources. So making of shows that highlight the archive material, Vic and I both agree that those types of shows get done before any of the new shows that involve scripts, costumes, acting, yes, all that, because part of these is a workflow, a way of doing things. So I wanted to review a little bit of that, but at least we have agreed on that. And so I also wanted to reassure Vic that any of the new things that I was coming up with, at least for the time being, had that basic premise that anything that I was doing like a script or new things were being planned more for the back burner. Mm-hmm. Because he and I had talked about, even before we could actually do those, we have to go play with some of the props. In other words, if we're doing a show with drones and Nerf guns, believe it or not, we have to go learn how to really work the drones and the Nerf guns. It's that good. I think it's great that Vic is, like a lot of things, like, you know, he's kind of a natural at them, and I think Miko may actually end up being kind of a natural too with some of the drones and the Nerf gun stuff. But we have to go play with that. So in order to do even some of the episodes that we have created, we have to have some period of time where we play with the props. So we have to make that into a show first. That's another show you get before the other show. Because we have to do the work anyway.
Right.
That's why it's a show. In other words, we have to go play with the drones and the Nerf guns and all the other props just to understand that we got to blow up the blow-up characters. We got all that crazy shit. We got to dress up the Barbies. All of that is shows.
Right.
And we actually think in some ways the show may be anticlimactic. I mean, by the time you watch Miko and her friends and I dress these Barbies, you may have had so much fun with that. You know what I'm saying? So hence the issue that Vic and I, we're just sort of acknowledging it to make sure that that's clear. Because I keep mentioning new stuff, but I want to make it clear to him. Yeah, I'm thinking the exact same way. So all the new stuff is the wrapping things. For the only things that may appear new is things like when we package more of our excursions. We're going to do the eating out show because we go out to eat. And this is Los Angeles, and some of the places that we go out to eat, you guys would love to hear about, see about. We're developing our own tastes and restaurants and chefs by our own experience as an urban traveler. And so we know that you guys would like to see and be part of that. So the new shows that are kind of new are still involve our going out and doing things, and then how we. Now what I want to do is get down with Vic is the protocol for what videos are recorded before, during, after, so that in my mind we can at least know that when we come back from, say, we go out to eat and we do some video, we're going to go out to eat, that we come back with some kind of a rough format. This is why we're productive quickly. You notice how I'm not letting there be a lot of delay because there's no script. What I'm saying is, if Vic and I decide that before we go out, we both do, and I'm going to start out with Vic and I. That's the other thing I wanted to tell Vic. All my initial designs involve you and I, because it's the only way to get going, get them tested, and start now.
Yeah.
So we can start as soon as we're ready to go eat. So it's what videos we do before and what format. What videos we do on the way, if so, in what format, there, when we leave. Those kinds of things. And the only extra part of that, because it's fairly simple, is when we say videos, I'm talking about just basic selfies to the camera. Now we have to decide also what social media postings we want to do prior, which will be part of the protocol, which will kind of make it easy. In other words, in my mind, I thought to myself, if I put in already the things that Vic has already mentioned, that means that prior to departure, a meerkat and a periscope, okay, and then connecting that to social media, which, you know, and then prior to departure, if we get our own selfies, then we say you keep it simple, 2 that before, 2 there, 2 leaving. And you can add more as you think of it. But look at what you come back with, 6 videos. You got the meerkats that you could add in if you want to or not. And then the difference being that if you do something that's kind of narrowly planned, remember, I don't try to over-plan stuff, that Vic and I can come back and sit down, and in a quick 20, 30 minutes, we allow ourselves an hour. It never takes an hour. But we're going to see. Plus, there's no rush. Vic and I are going to come back, and I'm going to lay out a basic protocol for assembling those videos, right? Then Vic and I are going to look at it, decide what else it needs, which photos we show, and then you recognize that that protocol could be applied to every excursion. And that's what I want to do. In other words, what am I prioritizing? I want to prioritize the workflow that allows me to take the selfies we generate from whatever excursions and turn them into product just as rapidly as we've done with everything. Right now, that is our forte. Vic and I know one of the things we are is exceptionally fast from the time we capture video, those things, and the time we can get it up there on the internet. We pride ourselves, and that's because of our workflow and planning, because he shoots and edits in the camera. And then he comes back, and then he's cutting out and removing stuff quickly. He has going through stuff, same thing with the photos. Notice these workflows. He's reviewing the materials. He's reviewing the photos. Then we come together, we assemble stuff. That is part of what makes the unique way that he and I work so good, so fast. And that's why you get a higher level of the product at the end. And I know that I can ensure that we do this for our excursions. And imagine it, that's where we're starting. See, I'm just saying that's where we're starting, just so it's not random, right? It'll probably get way better.
Right.
But Vic and I will start with knowing at least we're going to do, when I say two, that means he and I. Each of us do a video before we leave. And then we do one when we're there. And then we'll make up the list. Like if we feel like we need to do one together, we're both talking, doing like this or something. That's the whole point. We can learn and edit the flow on the fly, do the experiment, and then that format stays open even when Vic does, for example, the LA art walk. Now when he goes back with the photos, he does all his extensive photos. He shoots video. But I also know that because we've gone over protocol, I'll get A, B, C, and then we'll package boom, boom, boom. And that then it becomes how fast we get that into the broadcast. Now here's the thing, like we said, biggest shortcoming, right? Promotion and branding of that new stuff. That's why with Vic and I, this is the part where it's going to get great though, because I can already see it. As Vic and I Vic, see if this makes, it seems to me that as we are instituting this protocol, right, and we're doing things, we're generating the social media by doing the Meerkat and the Periscope stuff and intertwining a lot of that stuff within the selfies and stuff. Right. We actually are doubling up, which for us makes sense. It makes the workflow way more natural. The postings can be somewhat different from each other and support each other. Okay? And then that way you have the ongoing social media that's supporting the broadcast in a way that's interesting and dynamic. That means, so the simple things we do, let's say it's just a day, we don't have nothing planned, but we stop at the beach and do this. As long as we do our protocol, roughly the protocol. What if we decide we're already out? Well, we'll do the before video when you first get to the beach. You know, or then maybe the second one when you sit down to eat, or when you leave. Whatever. The idea is to give yourself enough of these formatting items that when you come back, you know as a baseline, what kind of it. So that's what we're saying. And I'm for that, Vic. And that's the only stuff we have to do. It's just that simple. Decide on those things. Right. That's why I said we could do it before we do the excursion, right? The only thing I'll be bringing up is I'll be saying like, hey, this is, you know, what are we going to do? And then we could do a video together, talking about the excursion, then went separate, whatever. Then know that we come back. See, I can tell Vic, see, the part that we feel confident is I can tell Vic I can come back and set that all up for you to review in minutes. So then when we sit down and review it together for both of us, it actually takes minutes. We allow ourselves half an hour to an hour booking time. Right. But the truth is, we know we'll do a bunch of them in 10 minutes. A bunch of them in 10 minutes. It just depends, because then basically it's the input. Yeah, let's do this, this, and this, and then I'll go do the stuff. And it'll take minutes because we're going to use prepackaged elements to finish up. So that's one of the things, Vic. Now the other thing that's on that same level I was hoping to institute was there's some things we could do to augment our shows. I was actually looking at adding some more of these same elements like we just talked about, pre, during, post, same elements as a protocol that we attempt to do for the Quiet Storm and all the elements. You're already kind of doing it, but by having as a goal to, because we know we might not do 100%, but if you and I set the 10, you know, set everything up, and we're doing it and trying to hit protocol for and I was going to take a more active role producing wise with the DJ Miko show, implementing more of the things you and I formulate in terms of still keeping it simple. As the pre, during, post, so that those get done during those shows, and priding ourselves that they get done for the same kinds of reasons, okay? Because it's just attention to detail to me to getting those out, even if we stop and do them on the air.
Right.
So we could do that. So I was thinking that to apply some of those elements to the Quiet Storm, to the DJ Miko and the I Victor, you and I decide and review what's to be done. And especially because you have a bunch of ideas, I want to pull all the ones, at least that we're covering what we say we need to cover.
Right.
Because then I can know that we're going to package it all consistently.
Right.
And getting into, so that's already up, to me, that's already, if we just do some of that, look what we will already have. We'll have the updated episodes that look more updated. We'll have stuff in the broadcast and the stuff promoting them.
Right.
I'll be able to use. Theoretically, right, those selfies and stuff can go into the broadcast too,
right,
as part of the promotion. So that was one of the workflows I wanted to throw at you, because I was trying to make it zen. It could not be complicated. I needed to make it so simple you didn't need to write anything down. The pre, during, and post, you and I deciding, that's our start point. We can always add more.
Right.
But you and I decided doing that for both the Quiet Storm, all the triple banger Friday elements. I also want to start thinking about adding specific to the Quiet Storm. I just want to remind you that I have added the added karaoke capabilities.
Right.
And there for us to add in for when we do it. I'm gonna try to do stuff to start it off.
Right.
And besides karaoke, I have the sing along with the song thing too, where you just play the song and you sing along.
Right.
So we got that. I also thought about doing some things where we actually started with skits as we led into the show. Like when we went live, I specifically got the idea from Saturday Night Live where they would come live and they'd be talking on the phone. Hey, yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Right.
Yeah. So little skit things that we could use the fade into.
Right.
The other thing was to have have skit like things like that to do our transition to fade into a video, particularly that does enough of the stuff right to allow us to do what we need to do again.
Okay.
To have a more consistent transition.
Okay.
To actually go on and make those transitions, right? Because we have all the stuff. And so we can have all the different versions of the fade and transition, because really it's just attention to detail.
Right.
I just have to make sure I lay it out,
right,
even if it's music, whatever. Okay. Along with all of this, I know it would help even within the DJ Miko, and again within the Quiet Storm, those two, to have the every 15-minute or so updates. If we as producers go over that format with Miko. I now have imported the backbeats and even told her. Now I have 30, 60, 90, 120.
Right.
And I just load them like a song.
Right.
So that made it simple till I figured out the other samplers. Even though I did figure out in the house how to reset the sampler in the software.
Okay.
But still, you could pull it in as a simple song.
Okay.
And I said, Miko, I could train you by giving you got 30-second backbeat. It could be whatever we want, but you can get used to it. You could say, give me 120.
Right.
You can say, okay, I'm gonna say, like, we go into your indie segment, right?
Right.
I say, but backbeats 30, 60, 90, 120. You can say, well, I only want a 30.
Right.
Just give me a 30, and then you're listed to it. Do your intro, and then I'm gonna cut to the song.
I got you.
All of that on the fly, getting used to those on the fly elements. It's just attention to detail. They're already installed.
Right.
Okay, so I was thinking about doing that. That makes the whole Quiet Storm and Miko show. I'm already out here. So I was thinking about getting more active as a producer on a bunch of elements with her and get every one of these elements done a certain way.
Right.
As part of that, I figured out a way, and I wanted to see what you thought about this. I have now, when you do medicine, we have this thing about how you prep about people in intensive care and the patients. You cover certain pertinence and things, and you learn how to present that.
Right.
And it's really done very quickly because it's the way you do it. And attention. There's a way. I would like to start scheduling a 5-minute prep. 15-minute prep before the beginnings of the Triple Banger Friday. The question is whether or not we actually shoot it or not. And actually, in that attempt to go over all the specifics in that 15-minute prep, because that way I would be prepping Miko over Bloom. Well, you and I would be just stating what we're going to do.
Right.
But depending on how we do it, it could be useful in recording it even.
Right.
But then we're mostly informing Miko, but it's also a practice of you and I to learn how to always have a minimum prep.
Oh no, that's it. That's an easy do. I mean, I don't see anything with that, because that just, for me, it's going to be easy because it's already going along with the prep that I'm starting way even earlier. Anyway,
we actually already do it,
and
we already do it. But you know who we're prepping, right? We're prepping the talent, right. And we're learning. What we're practicing, to me, is the minimum prep. So we often get no choice, right? So what I want to do, since we often get no choice of having no time, that I'm going to try to design a 15-minute and a 5-minute prep, so that no matter what, there's a prep.
Right.
Something.
Right. Right.
And let it be, and that you and I decide how to use that creatively, because it can be fun, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, and it really only belongs to you and I. Because it has nothing to do with anyone else. No disrespect, but you have to work what they call the fixed schedule that's going to have the discipline, not the catcher's mitt, where it may or may not, depending on other people. So I'm only saying, as long as it's with you and I and how we approach it, should be easy to do.
We will be Vic and I. Okay, no, I want to throw Vic out there on this because Vic is a leader. Vic's more ready. Okay. Vic's more ready. Okay, how challenging do we act as a network on our broadcast about our people?
Right.
And make it funny. I mean, we're not going to throw you under the bus.
Right.
But we think we should be able to joke about you.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like, for example, Candace. We love Candace Renee Rice.
Oh, yeah. Great.
But she's 23. So the fact that she has not done any of the stuff she was supposed to do. Am I not supposed to say that?
Oh no, that's the making of Candace.
That's what we're supposed to say.
That's okay. No, you know why? Because the part I like about it is that sometimes people's trails take them off the path and into another trail. And the thing I like about it is that the making of Candace, which we believe every time people come back here and they're in a reoccurring spot, whatever that role is, that they are making their brand, whether they do it officially or not. She's making a brand. Want to congratulate her because she's taking on the brand of photographer.
Okay, yes, nice. There you go, Candace.
So the part that times, apart from the times where they say, "Well, you're going to be in a fixed seat." Well, our goal is not to have. You guys know this.
We told them
to have you in a fixed seat and a talking head. That's not the goal. The goal is to interject, tap in, and see what your branding and where it may take you. And it should take you outside the studio. So the making of Candace, to me, is a success if she's following other opportunities.
Exactly.
But I'm still going to ask, where are you, Candace?
Yeah, where are you, Candace? Well, that's so that's the thing. And that's for a lot of our people. Well, right. Candace is supposedly, too, on the red carpet with Tyrone Dubois.
Very good.
Who's one of our associates also. We think that's great. And I actually am... told Vic they should come on together and tell us about their, or in fact, no, shoot a video out there, right, about what y'all are doing and get it over to us.
You're in a daymare again, right?
Okay. trying. Okay, so that's Candace Renee Rice. Loretta Mars too supposed to be doing stuff, but we know Loretta's trying to adjust. Loretta's cool with us. Loretta's thing is she got to get a better job. She's hustling the job thing. And we got your back, Loretta. We're telling everybody that Loretta Mars is coming and that we'll get her through to do some commercial stuff about what's coming.
Well, she's in music, so she's been connected with people. Somebody who was a guest here, E.R. Ruiz, who actually came here a few years ago as a guest, is getting more projects in film and movies. And so he's also a rapper. He left his CDs with us. So they met over here, and he introduced her and said, look, I can work on a certain part of your music. You bring in this and contribute this side, I'll contribute that side. So I believe what she's doing is exactly what she's doing. Not that we're not musically inclined and don't have that, But her focus is to get that production kicked off, and hopefully the time that she could split off, because she is talking with me, and we're missing each other. She's saying we need to talk as soon as possible. So there'll be some development and information coming.
And part of the protocol, okay, this is what I'm loving. See, this is how Vic and I change our focus. So part of the protocol that changes is now we have to prioritize bugging our associates to make their own selfies. And we don't mind doing it. See, before we wouldn't do it. But now we're going to kind of bug you more. Like saying, we need a video short selfie of you on this. We're going to start coming to you and asking you for them. Because then we need to use that. Okay? And we can plan I'll know just where I need it. I'll be very specific. Because when I come and ask for those kinds of videos, I'm going to use it in this way. So we're going to have, and what's the difference in the priority? By prioritizing, asking, and requesting our associates, we can make sure it gets better. It gets done more often with more consistency. Better consistency, and then get it into the broadcast, right?
Or we just go get people who are already doing selfies and don't have to worry about it, because then philosophically they may be in a different arena, and not everybody.
So notice how Vic just gave you guys a veiled threat. He's about to give Vic. That's a veiled threat.
I'm saying this.
It sounds like a veiled threat to me.
No, I believe people do this. If I'm not doing it already, it's not our responsibility.
Well, none of our people are doing it, so you know what you're saying.
So what I'm saying
none of our people are doing it.
I'm saying I will continue to support them in their endeavor in other ways.
Nico, sorta.
In other ways.
Ooh, so you hear what Vic's saying?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know, because Candace doesn't do it. Specifically, I go look at her Facebook stuff. I'm not seeing the stuff. Loretta doesn't do it. You know, none of them do it. Miko does it. And Miko, we're trying to get her on the other, but she's already on another level, see, because she's already given in on certain adjustments and is working on making all that while pioneering another level. So what are we trying to work with from Miko? Discipline and consistency? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and helping her to tie everything in. You guys have to get the shit done first. She's getting it done. With her, the task is consistency and the promotion. Same thing, okay, the big thing with us, we need to plan better so we can promote prior to and during and after. Is that rocket science?
You must be talking to a certain group.
We're talking to our people. Because Vic and I are saying it for ourselves. In other words, we're going to do all the new shows, the prototypes, I'm doing with Vic. Once we get it tested, everything, then we'll try to pull in the other people because they are slower to adjust. If they're faster to adjust, they get pulled in faster. Candace wanted to be part of the Eating Out show, but she can't get the other stuff done yet. Okay. That means that she's not going to... So that Candace, that means if you're on the Eating Out show, you're not going to promote the Eating Out show, right? There'll be no promotions.
She'll be your photographer.
You'll be our photographer. Okay, Vic's messing with you. All right, you guys. So we just challenging our people, however y'all challenge your people. Vic's challenging them too about the making Pax Stereo. So this is what. So those are the things that are issues right now. So those are the things I want to start doing right now. Mostly,
they're mostly goals.
Yeah,
not issues.
Yeah,
goals.
Because they're just the only thing I said of certainty, right, was to develop our protocols. That what we want to get done with the commercial selfies and social media postings,
right, and
on a regular basis.
And the test is, and I always say this because you and I have we've participated in an event where somebody got an award maybe 4 years ago where she only used her phone. Period.
That's right.
And she didn't depend on all these other things. She said, "Look, I do it myself."
That's totally correct.
That already tells me that you actually. You have yet to be even tapped into what you could do solo. That's what it's turned to me.
That's why this is why I have to go back to us, right?
Is really more than the collective, because the collective is about business. It's not about the friendship train.
And that's what we're going to do about a bunch of the priority. Okay, just like the web, all the supporting elements, like we said.
Right.
You know, you and I, with any kind of focus and some time, just all this other stuff out the way.
Right.
that we should be able to knock out all of everything I said is totally doable.
Yeah.
None of that involves actually creating much new stuff.
No.
It's just tidying up everything. But we know what it's going to make everything out of that. What's the goals? To get all that regular social media out. And once again, regular meaning pre-event, during the event, post-event, social media. Again, videos, selfies, pre-event, during the event, post-event. And then, along with our photos that we're taking, how we take and gather all that into a production that we're able to rebroadcast. And you're already getting the animated slideshows too. So that's our beefing up already. So with that first plan right there, we get to beef up the way we're doing everything. We get to beef up the social media. We get to beef up the broadcast, and we haven't even really attempted any new shows. How's that sound?
Well, I think that's good for production. I'll be focused on the area of people knowing see how well they recruit and refer. And my area is in a
they ain't gonna recruit and they ain't gonna recruit and refer. See. Okay, I hope our associates are recognize how Victor's effing with them.
I'm not.
In other words,
I'm having fun with you guys. And
it comes to referrals, promotion. It's pretty much universal for everyone except Miko. There's nowhere to go but up. You guys are essentially doing nothing. So you're going to start doing something.
I didn't say you were doing nothing.
And none of our associates like Tyrone Dubois will never ever be heard saying stuff like, I don't do that whatever shit. I don't do that Facebook shit. I don't do that Twitter shit. I don't this. Tyrone will never be heard of saying that again, because that shit is exactly what he'll be doing. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Pax Stereo. Thank you, Pax Stereo.